Hey, if you don't happen to know who I am, my name is Reesliker and I'm the owner and founder of Define. And in the last tutorials, we've learned contour, blush, and highlighter. So today we are going to take all of that and we are going to put it together for the complete look when you do all three, consecutively, essentially. So I am just going to do this half of my face so that you can see the difference between when you are fully contoured, you have blush on, and you have highlighter versus when you don't. Because really it just adds a lot of definition to your face and it doesn't necessarily morph your features in any way. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. What you're going to need is your Essentials palette from Define, as well as a highlighter. So highlighter, I have it in shade Trinket with me today. We also do carry it in Layer Cake, and that's going to be more of a white color. So first things first, let's go ahead and grab our chisel brush. So that is going to be the one with the black bristles on the top. And I am loading up my light brown and my kind of caramel shade over here. So a little bit of that light brown, a little bit of the caramel, and I like using the caramel because it warms up that light brown, because sometimes that light brown on its own can look a little bit gray. So if you need a warmer tone, that's where I add the caramel into it. Otherwise, you could just use the light brown like in the Essentials mini palette. So top of the ear, outer corner of the mouth, only going as far out as where the tail of your brow ends, or you can fishy face. So there we go. And since I've been doing contour for a while, I'm going to move mine out a little further than that. But when you're first learning, definitely only take it out to where the tail of your brow is. So we have that line established. Next, let's go and do the jaw. Remember, underneath the bone, because that contour is creating a shadow. We're not trying to completely eliminate our jawbone. So I'm just kind of moving it back and forth underneath that to really carve out my jawline. Next, side of the nose. So I'm going to look in my mirror, going straight, because my nose is not straight, so I'm giving it the illusion that it is straighter than it actually is. Making sure I have that there. And then I'm going to fan the remainder of what's on my brush out to the side. And then because I kind of want to create that button nose effect, I'm going to do a little bit of a V here at the bottom, so my nose does not look huge, but more slim. All right, so now I have everything placed that I needed with the chisel brush, and we're going to move on to our contour blush brush. So loading up a little bit of that light brown, a little bit of the caramel, tapping off any excess. Now I'm going to do this half of my forehead. So I'm gonna move back and forth to place. And I already have my foundation, my powder, and my foundation primer underneath all of this. So contour is going on top of that. And then now I'm going to do little half circle motions to blend. I'm pretty much blending where it meets my foundation and powder here. So little half circles to blend. Making sure you are getting as close to your hairline as possible. My hair is blonde, so that might be harder to see it being really close up to my hairline here. Let's see if I can get that going. All right. So now we have the forehead contour blended. We're going to swipe our contour blush brush on a towel, and then we're going to do little half circle motions where we first placed it on our cheek. Very, very light pressure to blend because we don't want to remove any of the foundation or powder we have underneath it. We simply want to enhance our features, not completely take away from what we've already applied. And you can do a little bit of a fishy face if you need to help blend. That looks so weird when I talk, but oh well. We're friends here. It's all good. Okay. And now we're gonna go on the jawline, upwards, making sure that is completely blended because I don't want you walking around with a brown line on your jaw. We just want it to look smooth. We want it to look blended. We want it to look chiseled, not like a harsh line by any means. So blending, blending, blending upwards. There we go. And my brush flipped the wrong way. It's a lot easier to do this way. Now I'm taking the larger bristles and I'm going to blend the center of my nose, like longer bristles are facing that way. And then I'm gonna blend the side of my nose to make sure that's not a harsh line either. All right, so now we have our contour placed and blended, and we are ready to move on to blush. For blush, you're going to need your dual foundation blender brush. I know, it's kind of a mouthful. And then for my personal preference, I like to mix the pink shimmer and the gold shimmer to kind of create a rose gold. So a little bit of a pink swipe here, a little bit of the gold swipe here, tap off any excess. And remember, we're thinking Neapolitan ice cream. So we already have our chocolate established. Now we're going to do blush right on top of that. It should be laying right on your cheekbone when you go to feel for it. So pat, press, only taking that as far out as close to where your eye ends. So if I'm looking straight into a mirror, where my iris ends, that's as far out as I'm taking it, because once I blend, it's going to expand and go further. And it's always easier to place a little bit and then go bigger than go bigger and try to correct everything. So I went ahead and swiped this on a towel, and we're going to blend, making sure you can not see any lines, make it really diffused, really light. Love a good blush. If you want to, you can bring just a little bit here to the kind of like apple of your cheek. I think that's what it's called. If you wanted to add some kind of rosy shimmer to it. So you can kind of like smile, or I don't know how I was doing that. One of those numbers, like a fake smile. And then that'll give you the idea of where to place it on the apple of your cheek. But as you can see, most of it is concentrated over here. This is just a little bit there because I don't want to place a lot. So that's blush. And now we are going to do highlighter. So taking my highlighter in shade Trinket, and I'm going to take the small end first, load this up. We're going in the inner corner of the eye. Then we're going from the arch of my brow down the tail. I already have eyeshadow on, by the way, so this makes it really nice because it just pops it a little bit more. So I'm tapping that just in case that's too shiny. Then I'm going to do the center of my nose, kind of like in the bridge here, between my eyes, to get that to pop forward, because mine actually is like a German nose. It doesn't have a nice slant, so that's where it makes it look a little better. I'm going to place this in the center of my nose. I'm going to drag it a little bit more over here since my nose kind of goes off to this side. And then Cupid's bow. So right here. And you can just take your finger and lightly tap any areas you placed highlighter to kind of soften it. Then I'm going to take the larger end with Trinket of my dual foundation blender brush, and we're just going to go right at the very top of my cheekbone and place that there. If you have a little bit left on your brush, you can also kind of bring it up here. However, I like to concentrate mine just kind of in that line for the most part. All right, so you can see just how much more glowy this side of my face is. So let's look at the difference between what contour, blush, and highlighter do. So you can see it just makes my face appear more chiseled. It is not overdone by any means, versus this side, which is just very flat. It's not dimensional. You aren't drawn to any area of my face, but this side, it looks very healthy. My skin does not look overdone, but it just has that healthy glow. So that is how you kind of combine everything between contour, blush, and highlighter. And if you're like, Reese, I love this. It's a little bit harder for me to follow at first, but I know I'll get placement down. Be sure to use your guide. Your guide's going to tell you exactly where to put your contour, exactly where to put your blush, exactly where to put your highlighter. And while you're first learning, you can easily have this in your bathroom with you, so you can just kind of glance at it and remember Neapolitan ice cream, hands down, is the easiest way to remember what goes on your cheek where. But until you learn it, definitely reference that guide. It is so helpful, and I've used it in the salon to train so many ladies how to do their makeup. But thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next tutorial.